But most of all, they always must remember that freedom is not free. God bless America, and thank you all, Central Falls, for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. This time, it gives me the great pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker, Senator Jack Reed. Senator.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Ammen, Congressman Wagan, Mayor Matthews, distinguished members of the council, it's a great privilege and honor to join you today. I also want to particularly commend and thank Bob Ferry and Tom Shanahan for their great leadership in this effort. We gather today to remember and recall a legacy of sacrifice and service which has preserved our freedom and ennobled our nation. Generation after generation, the sons and daughters of Central Falls answered the summons of their country to defend our ideals and to resist tyranny and oppression. They brought to this daunting task a profound faith in our country, a faith forged by growing up in this community of Central Falls, a place of strong families and abiding virtues. If they embarked on their service in search of glory, they quickly discovered there was more danger than glory, but they did not shrink from that danger. If they embarked on their service to vindicate the trappings of patriotism, they quickly discovered a more compelling reason to fight, to protect their comrades. For in the crucible of war, grandiose notions of country are rapidly replaced by a profound obligation to those you fight with. And if they embarked on their service to make the world a better place, they quickly recognized that their greatest fulfillment would be to return to this place, to Central Falls, to walk these streets, to see again their families, to see on the playgrounds and ball fields of this community the promise of youth, and to hope that another generation of Americans would not have to fight the fight they fought. And then to turn their energy to building a more just and decent society, not through one great deed, but by a lifetime of hard work to raise their family and be a citizen of this great community and this great nation. Throughout this century, young Americans have fought around the globe to secure the blessings of freedom. In the Great War, Americans endured the horror of trench warfare and poison gas. This deadly mixture of new technology and ancient rivalries claimed millions, and among their ranks were the sons of Central Falls. Their names are a roll call of America: Chenard, Fanning, Radloff, Semenowski. Their ancestors came from different countries, but they were united as Americans. And as Americans, they won a great victory and gave us a chance to build a better world. But just 20 years later, the world was again engulfed in war. The forces of darkness, totalitarianism, of evil were on the march. And on December 7th, 1941, they struck at Pearl Harbor. But a generation of Americans from Central Falls and around the land rushed to the recruiting offices to protect their country and to defy the forces of evil which refused to recognize the dignity of individual men and women. One of those young men was Arthur W. Cluley. He would serve in the Pacific, and he would never return. His wife received these words from General MacArthur. General Headquarters, Southwest Pacific Area. Dear Mrs. Cluley, my deepest sympathy goes to you in the death of your husband, Sergeant Arthur W. Cluley. Your consolation for his loss may be that he died in the service of his country in a just cause and for the benefit of all. Very faithfully, Douglas MacArthur. These simple words are fitting epitaph for this brave man. But General MacArthur went on at length, years later, to portray and to pay his tribute to the American soldiers and sailors and airmen and merchant mariners and Coast Guardsmen that we recognize today. Speaking before the cadets at West Point, he said, "And what sort of soldiers are these you are to lead? Are they reliable? Are they brave? Are they capable of victory?" Their story is known to all of you. It is the story of the American man-at-arms. My estimate of him was formed on the battlefields many, many years ago and has never changed. I regard him then as I regard him now as one of the world's noblest figures, not only as one of the finest military characters, but also as one of the most stainless. His name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give. He needs no eulogy from me or from any other man. He has written his own history and written it in red on the enemy's breast. In 20 campaigns, on 100 battlefields, around 1,000 campfires, I've witnessed that enduring fortitude, that patriotic self-abnegation, and that invincible determination which has carved his statue in the hearts of his people. From one end of the world to the other, he has drained deep the chalice of courage. As I listened to those songs in memory's eye, I could see those staggering columns of the First World War, bending under soggy packs on many a weary march, from dripping dusk to drizzling dawn, slogging ankle-deep through mire of shell-pocked roads to form grimly for the attacked, blue-lipped, covered with sludge and mud, chilled by the wind and rain, driving home to their objective, and for many, to the judgment seat of God. I do not know the dignity of their birth, but I do know the glory of their death. They died unquestioning, uncomplaining, with faith in their hearts, and on the lips the hope that we will go on to victory. Always to them, duty, honor, country. General MacArthur's estimate of the American fighting man is our estimate. He would later lead them in career, and once again American sons from Central Force would be there in the fight. It was a bitter struggle that still reverberates today on a divided and hostile peninsula of Korea. But no less than those that went before them, the veterans of Korea fought with courage and valor, and their legacy of sacrifice we honor today. And a short time later, we were again embroiled in conflict in Asia, this time in Vietnam. Indeed, William T. Cavanaugh, who we honor today, was the first Rhode Islander to fall in that war. Also, George Jordanas is still missing in action, and we honor him today. Vietnam reverberated through this country. It evoked questions about our policy and about our values. But there is no question about the courage and valor of those who serve. They redeemed through their courage the honor of this nation, and we honor them today. From generation to generation, Americans keep faith with the legacy of sacrifice and service. No more telling example of this is the story of Chief Machinist Mate Edward C. Morse and his son, Lieutenant Commander Edward A. Morse. Chief Morse died in 1942 in the Battle of the Coral Sea. He too rallied to the cause at its darkest moment, and his sacrifice lit the way to victory in World War II. But it was a sacrifice that inspired his son to serve also. Commander Morse graduated from the Naval Academy and chose the most demanding and dangerous path of service as a naval aviator. Tragically, he too was killed at the age of 33 in an aircraft accident. Father and son, generations of Central Falls, committed to their country, dedicated to its success, willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and we honor them. Today, we dedicate a memorial that will remind us of this legacy of service and sacrifice. But remembrance alone is not sufficient. We must take up the work of these patriots to defend America and to build a more just and decent society here and a more peaceful world. Ladies and gentlemen, because of them we live in freedom. Because of us, we will pass this freedom on. God bless America.
This time that generally wraps up the speaking portion. I'm going to play some patriotic songs. I'd ask the 88th Army Band to play one number at this time, and very shortly I'm going to be asking people to sing along. But at this time I'd ask the band to play one number. I'd like to introduce Michael Minatelli. Michael's the president of the United Veterans Council of Rhode Island. Say a quick few words, and we have a lot of entertainment still to come. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the clergy present, honored guests, veterans of all wars, veterans, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank the Central Falls Veterans Council for inviting me here today. The United Veterans Council of Rhode Island represents in excess of 25,000 organized veterans. This beautiful memorial exists as a permanent tribute, not only to the citizens of Central Falls, but to all from our state and nation who valued freedom so much that they served in our nation's wars and conflicts.